minutes.
The gentleman's recognized for 5 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, this is not serious legislation. It's a political bill. In fact, much of the bill is composed of inaccurate and misleading congressional findings. The bill repeats baseless and unproven allegations of wrongdoing that are not supported by the whole 18-month investigation of the Solyndras loan guarantee. There is no fraud. There is no fraud. There's no wrongdoing. There is a loss of money because this was a loan guarantee for a new way to deal with solar energy. And it was not successful when the Chinese dropped the price of their solar energy panel, and which meant that Solyndras could not compete successfully. In an attempt to invent a scandal, House Republicans have spent the last year and a half lambasting the whole loan guarantee program. They ignore the successes of that loan guarantee program. The successes are that, and you'd never know it from the Republican rhetoric, are DOE programs that are expected to support nearly 60,000 jobs, save nearly 300 million gallons of gasoline per year, by supporting 6 power generation projects that are now complete, 9 projects that are sending power to the electric grid, one of the world's largest wind farms in Oregon, one of the largest concentrated solar generation project in California. In Arizona, one of the largest photovoltaic solar power plant. So they concentrate, the Republicans do, on a failure. Now, when you have risky projects, because they are new ways to have alternative energy sources, you're not always going to have a success. That's why these projects need government loan guarantees. Now, the Republicans say this is so terrible. We should never have had this program to start with. They're not going to allow another Solyndras. But they don't end the program. If they wanted to terminate the loan guarantee program, this bill's not for you. Despite their rhetoric, this bill does not end, phase out, or defund the loan guarantee program. Under this legislation, the Department of Energy can use its existing authority up to $34 billion in additional loan guarantees in the years to come without any limit. The only limit they have is that no new applicants can come in and ask for funds. Only those applicants that have had their applications submitted by the end of last year. The gentleman from Kentucky said, well, that's only fair. But why is that fair? This is supposed to be a program that's going to invest in clean energy to enhance our international competitiveness, address the challenges of energy security and climate change. Instead, this bill prevents new, innovative projects from competing for loan guarantees. And as Mr. Markey from Massachusetts pointed out, most of those that are pending now are nuclear projects. So they create a winners list of about 50 projects that would be eligible for loan guarantees. If you wanted to end the loan project, the whole loan legislation, just do it. But they don't do it. And that's why Taxpayers for Common Sense opposes the bill, the Heritage Foundation, National Taxpayers Union, the Competitive Enterprise Institute, all conservative groups have raised serious concerns about this legislation. The whole point of the loan guarantee program is supposed to be to support innovative technologies. And we need to support innovative technologies, or other countries will be way ahead of us in the development of these technologies. The market will not fund these technologies because they are not proven yet. And that's why we need government backing for them. This bill doesn't move us forward on clean energy in this country. We shouldn't create a list of winners and then ignore all the other potential clean energy projects. We do not have time, Mr. Chairman, for phony political messaging bills. We have real problems to solve. We should be spending this time, I yield myself an additional 30 seconds.
Let's recognize for an additional
We
30
should be
seconds.
spending this time extending the tax credits for wind power. That would save tens of thousands of clean energy jobs. We should be spending this time developing responsible policies to reduce carbon emissions that are contributing to the record droughts, wildfires, storms, and floods that have been linked to climate change. But this bill is just more of the same, more political rhetoric, more bad policy, but no real solutions to the problems we face. We should reject this flawed legislation, and I reserve the balance of our time.
Gentleman reserves the balance. Time's expired. Gentleman from California.
Mr. Chairman, I want to point out, as I speak under our time, that the way I heard the last speaker, he can't be accurate in his statement that we have spent more money on wind and solar than any other source of energy. When you look at the tax breaks that the oil companies have been getting for year after year after year, we spend far more money through the tax system for the oil industry than we are for wind and solar. In 2005, the Congress adopted the Loan Guarantee Program. 2005, that was when President Bush was president. And this Loan Guarantee Program was supposed to be there to help energy projects. Most of the loan guarantees people were thinking about at that time were the nuclear energy loans to help those projects. When President Obama took office, he wanted to accomplish two goals. He wanted us to move in a different direction to level the playing field, not just put more money in the hands of the oil and coal companies, but to give an incentive for the state-of-the-art projects in the area of wind and solar and other renewable sources of energy, so that we can have a more diverse portfolio of sources of energy. So that we wouldn't have all of our eggs in the basket of the oil and coal industries, and especially in the area of oil, where we're so dependent on other countries to give us that oil, and we're so dependent on oil that we're adding to the greenhouse gas emissions that cause climate change. So in the stimulus bill in 2009, President Obama wanted to use this loan guarantee program and enhance it to move in a different direction in the energy area, but he also wanted to create new jobs. That was what the stimulus bill was all about, creating jobs for people right away. Let me point out that the projects being built as a result of this legislation are state-of-the-art, groundbreaking projects that would not be built without this program. And I want to give you a good example. The Ivanpah concentrated solar power facility is being completed in the California desert. It will be the largest facility of its kind in the world. When complete, it will give three 450-foot towers that collect solar energy from tens of thousands of mirrors called heliostats. In a matter of months, this facility will begin sending clean, renewable power to the electric grid. It is an amazing achievement. The Republicans keep saying that this whole program has created just 1,100 jobs. And then they take that 1,100 and they talk about how much money's been spent, and then they say it's X number of dollars per job. But this one project puts a lie to that statement, because it's employing not 1,100, but 2,100 construction workers. Don't construction worker jobs count? We need more of them. As a CEO who invested $300 million in the project put it, quote, "This project never would have happened without the federal government support. There's just no private sector financing for a cutting-edge technology project. There are other solar thermal projects out there, but none of this magnitude, and this would be considered first of a kind in the financing in the world, end quote. Now, let's look at this jobs claim that the Republicans have been throwing around. They talk about how this is not creating jobs, but they're ignoring 13,000 construction jobs, pretending that providing a loan to a company is the same thing as just spending the money, and then we lose it forever. But these are loans. They don't take in consideration the fact that loans get paid back, and most of the money has been used for successful programs. They are working on absurd assumptions. Independent experts reviewing the loan portfolio have made it clear that DOE is likely to be repaid the vast majority of the funds it has loaned out. So I support the loan guarantee program. I don't support this bill because I don't think we ought to end it, but this bill does not end the loan guarantee program. It continues it for $30-something billion. $34 billion. $34 billion. They want to continue the program because they will then have a choice through this program to fund those solar energy projects and other projects that already have applications. But they won't be able to consider anything else that might produce new breakthroughs, might produce more jobs, might produce the future for this country in the energy area, which is the future for our economy. So I just want people to understand this is all a sham. The Republicans are just trying to put out propaganda using Solyndra. They've been dancing on the grave of Solyndra for so long. Enough is enough. Our country needs to move forward in this area. Mr. Chairman, I want to reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman from California reserves. Gentleman from Michigan.
Mr. Speaker, I would yield 2.
Gentleman from California seek recognition.
Mr. Chairman, I have an amendment at the desk.
Clerk will designate the amendment.
Amendment number 2, printed in House Report number 112-668, offered by Mr. Waxman of California.
Pursuant to House Resolution 779, the gentleman from California, Mr. Waxman, any member opposed, each will control 5 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from California.
Mr. Chairman, House Republicans have repeatedly claimed that this bill will terminate the loan guarantee program. No more Solyndras. No more loan guarantees. But that's not true. Let's be clear. This bill does not terminate the loan guarantee program. It doesn't phase it out. It doesn't end it. It doesn't sunset it. It leaves it in place. It allows the Department of Energy to use its existing authority to issue $34 billion in new loan guarantees. DOE can issue those loans tomorrow. They can do it next year. They can do it 20 years from now. This bill creates no end date for this program. After lambasting this Bush-era program for more than a year, House Republicans are leaving it in place to issue tens of billions of dollars more in loan guarantees. And that's a fact. So here's what the Republican bill actually does. It arbitrarily picks winners and losers by prohibiting DOE from considering any application for a loan guarantee submitted after December 31, 2011. So when you say those are the only guarantees that can be considered, it creates winners. And anything else is a loser because it can't even be considered. There are 50 projects that are eligible for loan guarantees. Everyone else, no matter how groundbreaking or promising the technology, loses. Under the Republican bill, we're still going to have a loan guarantee program issuing tens of billions of dollars of guarantees. The only question is whether the latest technologies can be considered. Under the Republican bill, no breakthrough technologies can be looked at to compete with the older technologies that submitted applications by the end of 2011. That makes no sense. Does anyone believe that there are no new ideas out there that would be worth considering in the years to come? Of course not. Let's allow the best projects to compete for the funding. Now, one of our colleagues on the Republican side of the aisle said, well, it's only fair to let those applications that are pending be considered. Why is it only fair? We don't owe them any money. We don't owe them a loan guarantee. If you wanted to end the loan guarantee program, you should end the loan guarantee program. But what is unfair is saying that those are the only ones that can be considered. Renewable energy is a critical part of what we need to reduce our carbon pollution and prevent unchecked climate change and the disasters that come with it. Breakthroughs in the renewable energy are occurring on a steady basis. These breakthroughs promise greater efficiency at lower prices, and yet this legislation walks away from technological breakthrough in renewable energy by prohibiting DOE from even considering them. But suppose the technological breakthrough is not in renewables. Suppose the application is for a coal plant with carbon capture and storage. What a breakthrough that would be. Coal could be continued to be used without further concern about harm to the environment. Coal is ubiquitous. It's already available, and we could use it without harm. And yet, a loan guarantee for such a possible technology would not be able to be considered. Suppose it was for a next-generation nuclear plant, and they wanted to submit an application. They can't under the Republican bill. So my amendment eliminates the arbitrary provision that prevents DOE from considering any application submitted after 2011. It keeps all the other provisions of the bill, even ones I disagree with. But it would ensure that DOE can use its remaining funds to provide loan guarantees to the best, most innovative energy project. I want to be clear. My amendment does not increase or decrease the amount of loan guarantees that can be awarded under this program. If my amendment fails, DOE will still have $34 billion to award in loan guarantees should it choose to. If my amendment passes, that will still be the same amount of money. I urge support for the amendment.
The gentleman's time has expired. Does the gentleman from Florida rise in opposition?
Yeah, Mr.